Check, 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 check. Okay, so this one's going to be fun. It's a 2-liter Gocart, right? 2-liter standard. You get it from, Mitsubishi, Outlander Sports. Like a particular vehicle I happen to have. Maybe you replace that inline 4 with an inline 6, like an I6 L28 from back in the day. I don't know, maybe. I don't know. What do I know? You know? Point is, though, it's like, oh, right, no, I need, like, way more air. This thing sucks for what it's worth. The ports are kind of not the best. It's a 4B11, but it doesn't have the T for the turbo. Where did that come from, this turbo? Where did that happen to come from? Got this nice ram air intake over here. The front, standard stuff. It's my spoiler. Just suck in air. It's a huge empty space behind it. Right angles here. Whoosh. Little ASA plastic. A little electroplate. Little spray nickel. Make sure it really adheres. Get a bucket here or two. And glue might help you. You know what I mean? It's really just because it's going to chip the shit out of it, and there's a lot of abrasion and all the rest of it. So, got to make sure it's a little tougher, right? It's like, all right, that's nice, that's easy, that's all good, usually, until it's not. Because it's like, oh, I have to run this somewhere, I have to go do a little fabricational weldy welds, but hey, that's not that bad. I have to angle my inline 4 right underneath that seat, just almost like Donald Trump over here, pretending he could ever do something. Yeah, straight, just jam it in. But, despite all the funny joke, nevertheless, it's like, oh, all right, well, that exhaust has to go somewhere. Yeah, down. Yeah, always down, because you're sitting on the intake. Yeah, no, you thought that wasn't the mount point for your seat. That is basically just some spots that are there for. And it's just like, yeah, but it's comfortable, nice suspension, the right kind of like weaving of this rope and fiber, right? A little bada bing, bada boom of some comfortable foam, a little stiffer pieces of aluminum perhaps, or steel, whatever it could be, really. And it's like, all right, so I stick it in there, it's like, hey, this exhaust, I only got motorcycle exhaust. Sorry, dude. And remember these motorcycle, like, tiny boy, itty bitty, just terrible, radiators? Well, I got 4 of them. I got 2 along the sides, 1 behind me, 1 in the front. Got this nice little metal bifurcation, trifurcation, conification, splitter of the wind. That kind of thing. Right, it goes, and it splits away. Point is, I can see it in my head. Pretty easy to do. Even though I have aphantasia, so it's just different densities of black. So, I can see it just fine. But I guess others have it even worse, and that can happen. So, standard stuff. But the fun part is that, hey, all right, so I split the air. I put a little radiator at the front. A little skinnier wide boy. I get the side ones, the little pods that are just in front of those rear wheels. And then I got the one in the rear here. It's above where the exhaust is, standard stuff. And like, oh, well, that's where my spoiler is. Hey, it's like a Duval nozzle. It uses this nice little diffuser kind of thing, and it's big old spoiler, effectively. Getting fresh air in there at all times. And so it's like, oh yeah, no, I'll get extra downforce from my extra downforce multiplier intake front end and heat front end, and my side downforce pod radiator doohickeys, and then the same with the rear. Just lots of downforce. Lots of good downforce. Not like up force. That's lift. We want downforce. Opposite direction. I always think about that, but it's like, it is just towards the body that it is on. It's always just lift in a given direction. It's just force one way. You just angle it the right way and it goes that way. It's never really going to matter other than relative to the gravitational pull constant, but whatever. Sideways force, diagonal up force, lots of forces. Then I go, my sensors and detectors precede me. Is that a similar force? I rebuke you. You shut up over there. Oh. Anyways, we're talking about a go-kart here, so let's move on. Nice slant, still transverse. No longitude here. Gotta make it happen somehow. No solid axles, fuck that bitch. You can get a front end somewhere off of some jalopy. Like, what is this? Is that a Toyota Corolla? Mid-2000s? It's got a limited slip dip. It'll fit. And it can handle up to about 300 horses. Cha-ching! Everywhere. They're everywhere. Look at that. Look at that. Oh, I got a little turbo here. All right, I have to get this, standard 4-into-1 collector. I can't do this. Print with PCB way or something else. JLCP or some little stainless steel 2-to-1 and 2 of those, and get into one big old collector boy. Spinny boy, print it. Or I could just buy one. Probably. Yeah, I could always print my spinny boy though. My compressor, that's a turbo. Standard turbo stuff. Everybody knows how to turbo. Now this one's meant for this particular application, so it's more efficient. It's got the twin variable geometry scroll. Standard stuff, Everybody's doing that, especially with the twin variable geometry scroll intake. Why? Because fuck you, basically. I said so. It gets more efficient at lower and higher altitudes and at different speeds. Just tune her up a little bit, rip that off of this particular, this ECU, off of this particular, car. Go like, what's this tune? Hey, what are you doing? I'm just going to copy and paste this. That's what I'm going to do over here. What's that over there? Right? And it's just like, oh, well, that'll work. All right. Oh, yes, I never did talk about this motorcycle exhaust thing. Come here, Phaser. Yeah, we're walking down a trail that's not allowed for motorized vehicles. He's like, stop. Don't do this. I was like, okay. Well, that's perfect. That means I don't have to worry about anybody coming down. My dog. So we walk through here. So anyways, motorcycle exhaust, standard stuff. I can only use the one. Oh, no. No, I can't. I have to use 2. Yeah, which technically is 4. We're going to get to it. I'm not kidding. It has to go from here, and it has to go up, and then it has to go these 2, which I bifurcated here with this, collector in reverse, I guess. Right? You just wide boy that bad boy up, a little oval, right, going on. Splitter, just a little. That way I can have them almost like this bricklayering technique going on in the 3D printer world. That way I can have them right next to each other, these muffler resonator fuckers. And it's like same thing here. I'll just 3D print this bad boy, standard stainless steel, easy, all day. Easy CAD. That's honestly not that hard. Some tubes. Like it's hard to make that, you know what I mean? Yeah. So simple. So, and it's like, all right, and then I'll just have to have this be log style. Standard big wide boy muffler. And it has to hold my radiator, of course. So from a T is what you'd maybe think at first, except unfortunately we can't do that. We have to use mufflers from motorcycles, so they only have the one entrance, no T's here. Sucks, actually. So instead we go, oh, right, yes, so we'll just angled, and then we have to do this over to this way, which is split those legs, baby. Just gotta spread them. And then have them come back in towards the center, and then collect that towards the rear. It's gotta diamond it up, you know what I mean? Like a little triangle vacation here. Delta, point. Anyways, point is. Right? It's like, oh, okay. Well, I got 4. Yeah, oh no. Small boys. Except for the last parts here, which are big, wide bastards. You fucking find one of these fuckers. Cheap. I'm gonna go with cheap. You're trying to look for this thing that's really expensive. I'm going for cheap. Look at this thing. Big, wide, fat hunker. This would totally work. Bolt, click, 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 click. Hey, all right, let's go. Hey, I've got my ASA and this and that. It's holding my radiator. Good, all good to go. Now explain how heat, when it's devolving from this larger area and then through this smaller area, that then picks up heat and accelerates it. That then happens to do this thing where it expands into the rear, and then it has a big draft dead zone-y thing with all these smaller, wider areas. And then there's a faster moving air where this exhaust is, and it goes underneath. Happens to go through really nice. Picks up any of that heat from that exhaust. Really increases the amount, I would suppose, here. What do I know, though? I'm just some regular dude. Because that's the truth, I am just some regular dude. As my dog poops. Good boy, Phaser. Yeah, good boy. Good boy, going potty, going poopy. Yes, you are. Yeah. So it's like, all right. It's good downforce. And it's like, what about this thing? That's, the intake cooler. And it's like, oh, don't worry about that. That's up there at the top and over at the front and along the sides. It's just the front one versus the skinnier one in the rear. Standard liquid cool all day. I mean, you want to be cold where you are for your heat exchanger called the heat. Standard heat exchanger. It's like, all right. Yeah, that's good. All right. Now, here it is. Good steering wheel. Nice hydraulic fluid steering wheel. It's like, why would I do that? Because amplification of energy using vacuum. So, no more gears anymore. I can just go like, more vacuum by pushing it forward, right? And there's like this gap full of nothing, apparently. There's this thing called hydraulic fluid, of course. And it goes, and then I move more fluid, and then I move more fluid. And so it made it so it goes further left or right. And now how did you seal this vacuum up with bearing seals that are ubiquitous throughout the car world? I don't know. I probably used those. I'm pretty sure. Pretty sure I did. Yeah. standard little scan it if you even need to. A lot of the files are actually online already. L28 block files, yeah. Fully done in CAD. Whole thing, you know. So there's that. Yeah, you can just probably work on that and make it. Just print it out. No need for all these fabrications, except, well, actually, you probably do want to learn how to weld. Well, it's so bad. Bolt her down, you know what I mean? It's in the right places. All right, get the tolerances right. Oh no, where did this bore hunter go? Oh no, I have a bore hunter. It's honed to the right specifications as per this bore gauge, micrometer, and what is this? A caliper set. Oh no. Do you have a jig? No, it's up there. Stupid jig. You know what I did though? I was all like, the ground with these holes is good. I'll measure them with this tape I've got. I'll pour some water down and throw in some not even really there Quikrete, you know what I mean? Just fucking get her done. Got myself a shit jig. It works though. It's like it's fucking terrible and horrendous on your back to fucking stand over this thing and sit down and try and weld on it, but it'll work. Some of us don't have the room, you know, so we gotta do what we gotta do. Make sure to get this, what is this, a protractor? Oh yeah, no, it tells me the angle, tells me a whole bunch of stuff here. I got this 3D scanner. No wonder I have no money. I know, right? Who's got the 3D scanner? Creality Raptor is apparently pretty good for certain sizes, things. Yeah. Stitch together a bunch of them into one file. Kind of hard to do, but, you know, doable. The next thing you know, what do you got? A whole fucking cage goes above the person. It's almost like this drag racing kind of situation. Yeah, encompasses the front. You got a little wind blocker shield thingy-majig that jiggers out all the wind. Really stops all this excess heat from the radiators coming in. Really helps, you know. A doohickey around over here, you know. Making sure I can stop the right way. Got my motorcycle 2-piston calipers. Look how many I've got. I got 3 of them. It's like I got 6 in the front. 6-piston calipers. It's like I have that. And there's nice floating. Don't even need it. Doesn't need it. The rear, it's good enough. Got 2 dual piston calipers in the rear. Standard stuff all day. Using, what is this? Motorcycle tires? Oh yeah, and a little tilty action there. Yeah, because like front, you know, it's a front wheel drive. And the rear, it's meant to kind of be moving a little, right? Oh no! A little rear wheel drive action. I never wanted to use that to my advantage to make goat carters suffer. A little tilt action here, a little pivot action there. You know, I'm turning the wheel like this. You know, nothing like a little bit of this ball joint pivot going on. You know, rakes it forward, rear, left, right, you know, corners. Nothing like a little extra oomph to that party of these street-like motorcycle wheels and tires that don't really quite have the street stuff. You know what I mean? It's meant more street and adventuring. Oh no. Whatever shall I do? Have a wonderful time in my great dune-like go-kart that's better than all the dune people? No offense, but oh my goodness, I've got close to 350 horsey powers. Oh yeah. Nothing like a little extra boost will do ya. Right timing, a little tune here. You know, nice spinny boy you printed yourself. Oh, I'm sorry. That's what the twin scroll thing and all that. I guess I'll have to go get a different one. 2 smaller boys. Smaller skinny boys. It's like, but, where's the exhaust is on the other side of the slant for the inline 4. It's like, you're right. Yeah, I know. No, except the intake over here has to go over that way, and then it has to go up, and then, yeah, and you want that shield so you don't burn from your hot-ass fucking engine and all the coolant. Yeah. It's a thing, you know. Pretty sure you don't want that. Some people might, though. You just open up the little heat thing in the front and direct some of that air towards you from the radiators. It's probably going to work out just fine. You bundle up and then you take it out and store it probably towards that front. Because the whole rear here is taken up by all of that. Like, oh yeah, where's your trunk? I mean, yes, I have one. I have a trunk, for sure. See, it's right there. It holds all my tools. You mean your toolbox? No, that's a trunk. That's what that is. It's so stupid. And yet it would work, yeah. It's just like, oh yeah, no, who needs diffusers when car is diffuser? Right, like, screw diffusers, radiator equal spoiler diffuser. Oh yeah. I don't know why it doesn't happen to be a thing a lot of people do. I'm sure that there's some legal restrictions and certain things going on, you know, with other, you know, racing institutions and so on. But like, this is not what that is. This is a street legal. Look at my wonderful air intake, also capable, that are attached to this. Ring light thingies that have headlights. Look at this. It's got some tail lights here. It's got some stoplights. Got some signals. Got some mirrors. Whew. Fits all the requirements for the height of the bumper and everything. Because, well, you know, I need a good radiator and massive air intake. Ram it in. I want that ram. Whew. It could be fun. Anyways, this is a thought I had for this inline 4. I want to get rid of my Mitsubishi Outlander Sport and put in this L28 I've got, because it actually meets the height and length requirements for fitting into that engine bay. So it's just like, well, eventually I'll maybe get there. It also can fit 2 L24s strapped together into a weird amalgamation of a V12, perhaps. Just gotta do the right kind of things, and yeah, it comes together for what it's worth. You know, standard stuff, really. Just like the air intake has to be bent this way, and it has to have this, you know, change of oval structure to this given triangular to then more round base, so that way it accelerates and, you know, goes around a corner better. And happens to dip in and then curve much nicer for what it's worth. And exhaust has to have that. We got 2 spinny boys. I need to make sure that they have the right angles here. So we need the right, not very large. In no way. This is like the fucking jet turbine, effectively, from stupid places, because they don't go very fast. All right, great for pressure though, for what it's worth, but not so much for this, where it's like, I need all the air. Give me more air, lots of more. It's just like spinny boys don't come with the big angles. Yeah, well, some of them do. That's a whole thing. Yeah, they call it ARs and stuff like that, and I'm like, You know, it's really about the angle and then this like total thickness of this bifurcation area here. So if you look at it, it looks sort of like it's air intake, it's kind of coning towards, and then it goes outwards, and then there's this little splitter here in between some of these blades, and that's the compressor. And it's like, spin the compressor! Yeah! Yes, well, it has to be on this bearing. So this oil pressure can ultimately alter this given wind vapor geometry, which of course can make it such that this is more compression or less compression. Oh wait, I've said too much. How could you possibly wind vapor geometry and twin scroll this with these dual rotating? Get out of here, you. Oh no, the air intake is rotating more than this other one that is the standard body of the turbo. It's impossible. The meme comes out, tears start flooding. In your mind, of course. You know. Standard stuff. Sure, someone out there will find it in the Wayback Machine for that meme, where like their eyes are literally just a bunch of water falling into this guy's mouth. The tears! The tears are here. Oh no, the intake. Whatever will I do? Oh, this hollow. And then it has to have an axle there. I wonder if I could print that with an oil bearing. No, it's never allowable. Why? Says you? Bullshit. You're never right about that. I'll find a workaround, just like I figured out how to make vacuums in this refrigerant gas and a little, geometry in no way, right? But it actually does require geometry. But it's like, this is geothermal here, so you drill in. It's like a bunch of little, heat sinks that have the outside, and then it collects towards the bottom, and it goes up as it gets hot enough. And so tube within tube, standard stuff, tube stuff, everyday tube stuff here. And it goes like, hey, I'll just piezoelectric this bad boy up. Shrinky, heaty, cooly, expandy. Little resonanty, little dun 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 dun. Anyways, I still am cross about that Redditor. That was back when I used to be blargy pasting whole thing online. He's like, it's not as fucking efficient. The transfer of energy is stupid. Everything about the density of the total amount of value of energy you could get is wrong. It's bad. You're wrong. It would be done already if it was good. So I kept plugging away at it until eventually I got to this point where I was like, so here's a turbine here too that's involved, and then like it cools off, and that cools off these solar panels, and then there's these big old floaty boys with solar panels and windmills just hanging down, those smaller windmills, but they act like this sweet ass anchor kind of system. There's these nice vertical kind of wind blades here. Something like what is his name, Bill Gates or whatever, certainly funding some of these people that are making this. They stand between poles. It's like, it's not as much, except, well, I got a lot more actually, and then I can use this as a big cooling tower as it goes up and it goes down, cools off, rushing water and electricity, ionic, kinds of fields start to happen, right? And the right material later, and heating and cooling, piezoelectricity, little static charge buildup, little light, bada bing, bada boom, baby. Hey, guess what? Hundreds of terawatt hours. Now, granted, we're talking about the right size and everything, but nevertheless, it works. It uses refrigerant. The right kind of refrigerant that actually improves the effectiveness of these given. Wow, is that a band gap for these solar panel transistors? Transistors. They don't call them that, though. But it's like that's exactly what they are, though. It's exactly what they are. I'm not kidding. That's literally what they are. But, the fun part is like, hey, as it flows, the fluid, it changes the field band gap frequency, and so it lessens it and makes it easier. And while it does move that electron, it actually gains more from the very chemicals involved. And then it, of course, puts it back in, and so it's charging and doing an electron redox flow hole situation too. So electron redox flow and electron holes together. At last, the marriage in heaven we always wanted, I guess. Cool some things, a little extra oomph, physical stuff. Anyways, point is, yeah, I know, turns out you were wrong, Redditor. You suck. I was right. You don't know anything like me. I'll just straight dookie on you. Point is, here, yeah, no, you can do the same thing with this intake double counter-rotating stator has to be there at the intake area too. Compressor. Yeah, it's more or less just a really short-based kind of axial, almost like compressor. Except it's not, because of course it's centrifugal. Standard shit. Out to end of all nozzle, center out approach. The out to end is the ram air, remember? They whoosh. You forgot about that, I'm sure, because you didn't listen up to this point. You dick. If that's not you, obviously, I'm just going after people that skip forward, and I already know everything he's doing. And I'm going to fish for all the information by asking you a bunch of questions, and then I'll make it up as I go along. I must sound really smart. Do you consider this? Nope, that was said in the video. God damn it. You stupid cunt. You didn't even bother to listen, did you? You just assumed it wouldn't work, huh? Anyways, I got all the brakes. I got the, good roll cage structure here. Nothing like some good 5-point harness. Standard stuff, right? Got to do it, right? You got to do it, Got to get her done. Got to go fast. What are you using? Steel, I assume. Well, there's some aluminum here and there. There's steel there for the good stiff strong. I don't want to dye stuff. All the rest of that good tune nature, happy stuff, Nothing like making sure that I get a bunch of air from the rear to go right up into where that engine is. That way I can get some of that sweet, sweet, good diffuser goodness. There's going to be air there. I need to suck her in, just whoosh, thermo siphon that bad boy out. Standard shit, really. Easy all day. Everybody understands it and knows it. Everybody understands this stuff. It's so easy. Everybody already knows all of this. So let's get into the harder core physics. The caricature bit I do often on so many of my videos. It's like, you already know this. I don't have to slow down for you. You're already smarter than me. You already assumed everything. You already know everything anyways that I'm going to say. Yeah. Well. Yeah. 99,999,000,000. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't do it right. 999 billion. Excuse me. 999,999,999 times out of a trillion. It's never actually a good thing, and they're wrong. They're just thinking they're smart. Oh, yeah, no, okay. Yeah, sure. Crazy motherfuckers over here that have huge insecurity and jealousy sometimes. Oh, God. Ego get fucked. Wham. But we're going to talk about the really scary kind of, physics. Remember, I was talking about, this tilty, pivoty thing? Remember that? With the wheels? Yeah, no, they have to be geometry-wise able to do this, and they have to move the right way. There has to be an axle that attaches to this transverse located thing, right? That has to go to the differential. There needs to be this transmission, so this transmission axle-like transfer of energy from this crank at a right angle. Now, if you don't know about hyphoid gears and conical gears together, That could totally be a thing that's wrong with everything you're about to say. So here, I'll use this dumbbell that's a conical and a conical and a hyphoid and a hyphoid in the right area. A little upsy and downsies, kind of square of hyphoids almost, almost like it was a bunch of differentials stuck together. You know what I mean? Like this one's more of the X style, this one's more of the cross style, right? Much more square versus much more diamond, kind of style. Little pivot here, move the conical, shift it forward and rear, a little pivot that way, Oh, wow, my gearing has been changing. How? How did that happen? With this such a short area, how did I do it? How did I get gears that require me to just hydraulically fluid actuate this really simple to actuate hydraulic fluid-wise thing? How did I manage that? Oh, it's so complicated, remember? You could never do that. People that are like that, stick people. You know what I mean? They click, they clack a lot. Always popping, breaking their sticks all the time. Probably why they're insecure. They can never seem to do the courage muster up, do some work, get some flex on some people, you know what I mean? Just like some brain flexing, just a little flex, just a little smart guys here, gals here, standard smart people stuff. Oh yeah, just a little flex. But it's like, okay, so that works. Yeah, no, except you don't know how that works, and I'm not going to explain that. Except I actually know several different ways to do that. For what it's worth, just put pressure on one side versus another, and you can move it and flow it like a hydraulic ram that has stators that attach them, right, like a ball joint sliding little axle bastard, and that'll work. And it's like, wow, it's really fast, and is there a wet clutch here? From a motorcycle? I had to 3D print stainless steel? Oh no! I couldn't possibly have ever done such a thing. Oh wait, whoops, I did. It's working! You said it would never! I had to do my rear stainless steel here, or tool steel. Really, I use tool steel, to be fair, because titanium is fucking just about the same amount of expensive. Titanium will work, by the way. It's just tool steel handles heat creep better than the titanium 3D print. So like when exhaust goes through, it happens to do less of that, which is a big deal because your gapping tolerance is huge, by the way. Right? Once you have that and it has to warm up to actually become good, it just sort of sucks. So tool steel, less expansion, better on that side, and you can get away with because it's stronger. A much smaller, lighter piece, all right, that gets away with murder in a way. You know what I mean? And here's this nice way of using this axle with a dome that's in this cuppy ball joint like thing that happens to be full of this fluid called oil, and then it moves it around. And it's like hydraulic fluid coupling, a torque converter, you say, with this heat shield like bearing. I could, oh, whoops, I did. I could do that. Yeah, no. What is it? Aluminum print for the intake. I only have to do bare minimum amounts of, spray some nickel on her. Nickel form around, some millimeters here or there, make it fucking a little stronger, go through the thing and then around the thing. That way it's like a cage around the aluminum manifold, basically. Oh, I'm sorry, mandrel. Not manifold, mandrel. Tolerance is now finally correct. Made sure of that, kept checking. nice micrometer, and whoa, it's working. It's crazy how actually possible that is, huh? Oh, I had this axle. It's attached to this one. It's almost like a gear. I have to move fluid there, and there's hydraulic, and it has to go over there, and then it has to, and then that's bend a boy, you know what I mean? And so like that then moves that, these gears that then rotate because stator, and then it never really quite touches. Little band here and there, make sure oil go through. And it's all like whoosh, really fast, like, really uses this speed like a volt instead of an amperage. Not lots of amps, meaning lots of oil. It means lots of high pressure oil that imparts its energy onto the blades that are long and have many more areas of which they can capture this energy to move it. And it moves out to these hollow stators, right? Oh, I mean my compressor. I mean my what is this at the front here? As it spins, of course, it goes, hey, I guess I'll just expand a little and cool off just a bit. I'll do some soul searching, thinking, calm down, come back in, do my thing, get back to it, And then it's all like, hey, no, it's spinny boy. Let's go already. I'm spinning here. You know what I mean? Hey, I'm fucking doing the compression. Nothing like it. You know what I mean? Nothing like it in the world. Literally the only one coming up with this shit. But it's like, it's so much of a thing. Everybody knows this. It's so easy, not complicated in any way. There's not one single person other than you doing it, but everybody knows. It's so easy. I can do that. Let's minimize everything you just said. It's so simple. It's easy. Every which way you think about it. Jealous, insecure boy over there. Girl, huh? Just saying, as my dog decides to jump up onto me. Phaser, no. We're going. It's okay. Don't do that. Jeez, you landed not so great. I gotta let you fucking 50 pounds of mass full fucking sprint into me. You bastard ass dog. You fucker. He's a husky. He's a part husky. He's fine with doing that. He just bounces off me. I'm like, you don't understand how not okay that is. You dog puncher. You bitch. You punch me with your dog whole body, fucker. Ow. You fucking bitch. Such a mean dog sometimes. It's like, no, we still have to get into aerodynamics. How did you lift up? Oh no, these diffuser structures, a little hole there, a little scoopy that way. Sucks in all this air. Allows some of it to go around, Goes into the engine bay area. A little mount here, a little mount there, a little this, a little that. Make sure that all the air goes correctly out the rear. Standard shit. Gotta have a nice structure to have that axle really stay where it needs to be with these suspensions of like vacuum and air. A little fluid here that has to travel through these holes, perhaps. Little stainless steel 3D print. Bada bing boom, bada bing bong. A little aluminum for this bad boy over here. Make sure, ba-bang, it works just right, the right kind of way. I need it to be strong and where it needs to be strong, and lighter where it needs to be lighter. Standard stuff. Always got to heat treat these things. Aluminum, steel, all of that. Like, I'm not kidding. You do. You have to fucking cool them. Like, it's a whole thing. Like, you have to go from broil temperature in your oven, because there's a lot of occlusions in these fuckers. It's a whole thing. And then you have to heat them up a little bit past that, and then you have to rapidly cool them, right? And which effectively means you're quenching, right? Except you can't do it the same standard size. So you have to use dry ice in a big pot, right? Like you have to do that. It has to be not oil. You want it to cool quickly, but you don't want it to cool too quickly, right? And so then from there, you have to go back to like slowly warming her up again. And then that's your anneal process, is you use the mass of the carbon dioxide to then slowly transfer its heat. And it's like fucking a whole thing, an ordeal. But like when it's a spinny boy, it's not so bad, right? When it's like a tube, not so bad. You know, it's when you when you have to get like an engine block or some shit, right? It's just like fuck off. No, I don't want to do that. Yeah, that's just so much fucking extra work. It's a terrible thing to have to try and do. However, at the other side of that, it does work really damn well at getting rid of all occlusions, and it forces it to actually weld back to itself, and it removes grain structures, right? So like no holes, no any of that, and it removes all those lovely little pockets of nothing in it, right? Except like you have to design it to where it's kind of Swiss cheese, right? To allow for all those pockets to remove themselves into these air hole channels, right? You have to do that. Otherwise it cracks and the outside likes to fray, right? So it's like, we're not done. That's going to be the electroform stuff. Remember that shit? Yeah, I'm not done. Are you kidding me? I have to do that. So that way you fill in all those gaps, and all of it throughout the entirety of the full three-dimensional solid structure here is filled now. That way, it's as strong as any other part, but now it's even stronger because it's like a metamaterial. Like, this is painted on, it's fine. No. This is really actually just alloyed fucking metal now. That's right. It's alloy bonded. It's effectively a full chemical bond now we're talking about. Right? And it's just like, well, that's great. That means it's a part of it. Oh, yeah, no, it's a fucking part of it. Yeah. Like, it's not going to go away. But that other metal that's around the outside, which, depending on how you decide to do this, you can mix and match. There's silicon carbides, boron nitrides, aluminas, zirconias, tungstens. There's a tungsten gas, world's heaviest gas. You know what I mean? It's tungsten, sulfur, hexa, octafluoride, some shit like that. I forgot what it was. Point is, if you heat it up, it then layers tungsten on what you heated up, which is awesome, except, hey, well, here's some nickel and a little boron nitride, a little silicon carbide, and it turns out, whoa, I layered it into an insanely strong alloy that goes into your aluminum and or even steel or any of it. And it doesn't even require you to use these super, very, I don't like them kinds of acids and bases. You just need the basics to get there. And then like from that tends to rip off the oxygen that's attached to that. And then this further embeds it in. And so it's actually a very real part of the material. And it lowers its thermal coefficient of expansion while increasing its outright strength. It's like, where did you hear this? I now have to search all of the Google Scholars and more. And I'm like, go do that. Yeah, have fun. Because that's effectively what this is, right? Oh, do some work, dummy. Point is, it's never been, oh, are you talking about this particular multiple fucking syllabic word that means fucking alloying with multiple different alloys for a metamaterial, which is like, it's not a metamaterial. That's so fucking lame. You're layering fucking plating. And effectively it's a grid-like, so they call this an etch pattern. Okay, whatever. You know what I mean? Like, and I'll shine light at her too. Oh no! And it adhered. Do you see how silly the words they are using are sometimes? I sound insanely important and amazing. Boom. Blum. Boom, 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 boom. I'm going through the electroplate. It's a whole thing. It's so hard. Oh my god. So fucking proprietary. I'll put some sintering cobalt and phosphorus into it, like they use with tungsten carbide, except you don't need it. You have silicon carbide and boron nitride. Zirconia, you can use that. Alumina, you can use that. It's so terrible. Oh my god. Oh no, my alumina. Oh my gosh, the oxygens. Did they move? Anyways, point is, yeah, no, there you go. It's good, solid structural piece. It's now much stronger, lighter, to a degree than some of the other things out there. Yeah, because like tungsten, you only need a little bit of it. But like generally, never really that fun when you have to use tungsten into something because it tends to be pretty heavy. Or you can get molybdenum added to a chromium complex with a type of zirconia and steel. It's a whole thing. Standard aluminum, high performance metals or steel for that matter, right? But the point is, it's like, hey, it's easy, except it's obviously not something you want to do. You'd rather have someone else do it. That's what that is. Yeah, it's like, no, it is actually doable. It's just you don't want to do that. Yeah, like I'm not gonna go through this. I'm not gonna be debased here. Debased? Yeah, no, you never had foundations in the first place for your fucking arguments. It's not been done. Metal material? Are you insane? It's not been done before? Do you know how many fucking people just play around with this shit every day just to fuck around and see what they can find out? Come on, man. And if it's like, oh, he did come up with something that could possibly work, give him that, is what they say. Because it's like, you don't know at that point. You have to do it. You can't say, it wouldn't work. You have to go, well, I don't have the money, and he certainly doesn't. And so I'm possibly very wrong. And there's probably a very good way of doing that that will ultimately result in that. I just don't know it, and I'm stupid. And I don't want to say that. And it's like, yeah, no one cares. Do it anyways. Say you're stupid. Say that. Say it for once. Do that after a while. Jeez. But here it is. Oh yeah, no, it's put together. I got some nice suspension. I'm doing those little rocker arms. Oh, that's not what I'm supposed to. Crescent wrench pivot system. No, that's not what I'm supposed to say it as. What is this again? Oh no, I can never use the S crescent wrench. That happens to make it go angle this way, and this X-like structure that has to hold these engine mounts to this stress member engine mount system with this stress member roll cage cooler intake area that has to have these long areas from the front here towards this center where it's in the seat that happens to need suspension in the tubes that are there. It has to go from the sides, it has to mount to these roll cage areas that are there. Then I need to have it go up and then onto the roll cage there too. And I have to have this hydraulic fluid travel in these vacuum areas, a part of this tube sort of thing going on with this hydraulic fluid. So it's doable is what I heard everyone fucking eventually realize. You know that thing, a nice little dramatic pause there, for you guys. As it's a dun 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 dun, as you probably laugh or like, oh, I'm surprised. If you got to this part, right? And it's like, hey, yeah, no, there you go. That's the Gocart. Yep, standard. Good fucking throaty big boy sound. You know what I mean? Slanted now. It's good shit, right? All day. Easy stuff. It's got intake, variable valve timing, exhaust variable valve timing, automatic, easy. It's built for a turbo, so you know it can be turboed. The 4B11 can be turboed, yeah. A 4B11 is essentially a 4B11T. They just didn't add the turbo. So it's like, it can actually handle a turbo. That's the thing, right? But it's like, But now it weighs far more. Yeah, no, it weighs so much more. So very much. It's under 800 pounds of weight. Flying by in a fucking 2-liter, turboed up, over 300 horses. Got myself 250 fucking torques on the low end. Really, probably I'm looking 370 most likely from the start. You know what I mean? You know, got that turbo, extra torqueys. Right? Just flying with my rear wheel drive and rear wheel steering and front wheel drive. Front wheel drive in no way. This is front wheel steering. Right? Standard rear and front steering. With my pivoting side to side, kind of like, I'm a race car motorcyclist. It's a race motor fucking. Whee! I'm tilting. I pivot towards the front when I'm accelerating. Woo! And I slowly get that rear end to dip down, and that front to lay flat. Maybe it'll lift just a little. You never know, Never like braking where I do the whole, and all of the things in the front, stiff as fuck, and I just dip that rear end, lift that front end, let it go down. Pivoting it towards the rear, getting all that rear weight towards the front, when I want it to be there for when I accelerate and launch, getting that pivot weight over here into the fucking rear when I want to brake. All that from the front to the rear here. Side to side, I got to do a little camber, a little angle, a little this suspension adjustment, It has to automatically do that passive as I do the little wheel thing. I got to make sure I adjust it with this little knobby thing. That way I get more of that steering in the rear or less. That way I don't have this issue. It's just like a little rudder control, you know what I mean? Standard stuff all day. I'm just going to fucking carve into this fucking, what is this, dirt? We got a sand dune over here, just carve into it. Fucking lay on that. Fucking really enjoy myself, give myself like a good 1.5 feet of clearance here. Maybe 2 feet. You never know. Like, maybe I don't want that. Maybe I just want to street around, fucking putt around. I got my nice fucking jams. I decided to put in some fucking sweet ass old stereo speakers from fucking any Goodwill store. 3D printed this together. Got a nice little digital and analog and from a Goodwill and a couple good brand new copper cables. Now it's not as perfect as theirs, I'm sure. A little weather cable here, a little, speaker cable there. Well, and I got this, what is this, gauges for tachometer. I got my oil. I got my, what is this, engine coolant. Got the speedometers, the series of the tires to this size, so, the calculation, this gear ratio. That means, it should be this now. For this size, pretty simple stuff. I'll use it all day. Everybody knows. Just making sure it works, right? Got a blinker. Got my headlights, my regular lights. Got my high beams, I'm just making a joke here because it's like I got my headlights, standard, and but those are my high beams, and I got my standard lights, and they're just high beams. What is with lights these days? Why are they so insanely bright? Anyway, they're just insane, just insanely insane in a lot of ways. It's a crazy situation, but of course we don't want to do all that, right? So we gotta tone them down just a little, right? Do that thing. Yeah, they're too bright at times. It's a thing, yeah. But we got our nice lights at the top. They're just kind of like a strip, and I got a couple of them together, and then I like put them in this nice 3D printed thing, and then a little this bada bing bada boom situation. Later, and it's like, oh, they're basically molded in. Hey, good big old bright fucking bars in the front here. Spread out and diffused. Standard stuff. That's my high beam floodlights. They all up to the sides too, just everywhere. I can see like it's day as I go through the night dunes by myself because there's just one seat. Yeah, no, there's the one seat. That's it. There's no one else coming along for a ride. I lead the way. The big old truck. Hey guys, catch up. I'll eventually get an all-wheel drive into it one day. Rip it off a Subaru or Mitsubishi, some shit. It'll probably be fine. It'll be fun. It'll be fun. All right. I'm done recording this. Yeah, leave a like and subscribe, blah, blah.